and I'm fortunate enough to have a person like him who is going to enlighten us about the whole industry scenario as well as what is going on. Certainly, we are going through a very different kind of situation now, which is a lockdown situation for all over the world, and the world is watching a complete different kind of mileage, and that mileage is going to come in the digital world itself. So over to you, sir. We are actually waiting, and we are waiting for your knowledge and blessings so that we can encourage ourselves and uplift the whole community.
Thank you, Arijit, and all the participants in this meeting. A very hearty welcome to you. I have heard so much about Arijit's platforms and the wide reach he has, and I'm sure that this is being listened to not just by people in the media, in the industry, but also the policy makers. And I would like to share some thoughts, particularly with regard to, the symbiotic relationship that media and business shares. We are all in a lockdown situation today, and almost everybody, the industrialists, the entrepreneurs, medium, small, huge, they're all locked up in their homes. And of course, they may be working from office, but their entire window to the world is essentially media. It is through media that they are coming to know about, once the Prime Minister announced, then you had, the second lockdown or the extension of the lockdown. You had the Home Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs, releasing its statement through the social media handles and also through media, wherein restrictions have been eased in certain sectors such as construction. Now, this apart, we are seeing a lot of discussions today across the media on various aspects of media, of business. Which are the businesses that are going to be severely impacted as a result of this, lockdown? That includes the aviation sector in a big way, the hospitality industry in a big way, the travel and tourism sector in a big way. You name it. There is hardly any sector which has not impact. But yes, there are also sectors such as your education technology, telecom, which seems to be benefiting out of the present situation, in the sense that today people are using internet like anything. There's work from home, study at home, you name it. I think every educational institution worth its salt, they are all going online in a big way. Education technology has got a tremendous boost. Digital payments have got a tremendous boost. People are not using currency notes. So there are a lot of businesses, but by and large, you name it, majority of the businesses have been severely impacted as a result of this. And I'm really glad that media has been taking up these issues, in its discussions, whether it be with the policymakers, the RBI governor has been coming off and on, has been, releasing the RBI norms for the banking sector. So it is through the media that we are coming to know about all these things. Business has a very special relationship with media. Let us also remember that pre-independence, media was essentially a mission. You had few people who were running media or print media essentially out of passion, out of their commitment for the nation's independence, for social reforms. You had a lot of national leaders from Baba Saheb Ambedkar to Mahatma Gandhi who brought out several publications, from Lala Lajpat Rai's Kesari to Baba Saheb Ambedkar's Mook Nayak to Mahatma Gandhi's Harijan and Young India, you name it. They brought out publication, create awareness among the masses, to bring about social reforms. to, to resist the British or the foreign rule. But gradually, from a mission board, post-independence, it started acquiring the form of a business. So mission became a business and subsequently an industry. So from the times when you had the Hindustan Times, which was started at the initiative of Mahamana Madan Mohan Malviya and run by the Birlas, to a period where you have seen huge industries. One, they came basically looking at media as a business proposition. Two, to kind of give as an extension of their business, to create an image about their own business. And of course, there were some unscrupulous elements also who also jumped into the bandwagon to use it as a potential weapon against the powers that be. So you had all kinds of people who came into the business sector, into the media. And so much so that real estate, people from the real estate, particularly when the television came into the country in a big way, because there has never been, as such, any restriction on anybody becoming a journalist in this country, or anybody running a television channel or starting a business house. There have never been regulations to that effect, and as a result, it was a free for all. All kinds of players came, some genuine, really genuine players with a commitment to the fourth estate, and some who looked at it as a profit-making business. You had all kinds of people. So media itself became an industry, and we need to understand today that media is also going through a very critical phase. Globally, even before the corona came into play, media was going through a very, very critical phase, in the sense that print media was winding up in many parts of the world. You had publications like the Newsweek, which had to go online. You had many publications in the West, because the new generation, the younger generation, have switched over to smartphones, to the internet, to online newspapers in a big way. The print editions were being wound up in many parts of the world. Fortunately, in India, we have been able to buck that global trend. And this primarily has been because the Indian newspapers, one, the language media grew exponentially in the recent past. And more people were switching over to language media, whether it be the print, the electronic, or digital. So you had a large audience which was shifting to, electronic, to language media. There has been a tremendous growth in language media as a result of that. Because in the neo-literates, people who have become educated as a result of the country's development, they looked at the newspaper as a symbol of empowerment. So, and the newspapers also reinvented themselves, in the sense that from state editions, which used to be publishing dark editions, which used to be sent to different towns, they started decentralizing the entire publication process. And the local papers used to be prepared locally at the district level. So you had that sense of a community newspaper, where the local edition will be talking about local news, local personalities, local events, and whereas the editorial page, which were all centrally prepared for all the editions, they would be sent to these local centers, and then they would be printed and circulated. So, and of course, the Indian print media also took the online in a big way, into the digital. And this is not just the English print media I'm talking about. we are talking about even the language media in a big way, Hindi and other languages which switched on to the digital path in a big way. Now this has been able to, because the local supplements, so media has been able to, the print media has been able to survive. Unlike the, but of course, in India, there are also exceptions. I mean, recently DNA had to wind up its print edition. You recently had India Abroad. India Abroad had to wind up its print edition. Now, India Abroad was catering to mostly to Americans of Indian origin. So recently it bid adieu to its latest, edition. The last edition had said that bye-bye print media, now we will be online. So now that is the reality. Even then,
I have a question. I have a question.
the projection.
I have an interesting question for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Origin.
So I have been a visiting faculty to a couple of universities and a few of the colleges.
Yes.
So when I talk to any university or any kind of institution out of India, I don't want to name them, but maybe in Japan or maybe in Dubai or in UK, they are pretty comfortable about giving classes and taking classes using online medium. So I've been doing it rigorously for the last, I think, some 6 years and so. But when I try to do it here in our own country before the lockdown, remember, not during the lockdown, way before lockdown, around 7 months.
Now you will be in great demand. Post-corona, you will be in great demand. I can assure you.
Sir, listen to me.
Because that's what we are doing. I'm coming to that, in fact.
Sir, give me 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. When I tried to do it in India 6 months back, couple of students, around 50% students started saying that we don't want online classes. We want the physical one. You have to come and you have to take the class. So I wanted to do it because I traveled a lot. During my travel, I can take the class. So maybe I'm in some other country, I can take classes in India. That was the intention. But the revolt happened. And now, during this lockdown, the same set of students, they are taking online classes. What is the mindset? What is the exact mindset? You are the best person who can actually tell me that. The audience are actually waiting. I'll tell you the reason. Although we have got, I think, 3 people who joined here, they wanted to ask direct question to you. That's the reason. Okay. So we don't allow people who are, just as an audience. That is for only the social media. They can see it. So they can visualize it. Only the people who are sending me requests, who are actually wanting question, so they are admitted over here. In any case, so we have a couple of questions for you. But before that, I would love if you can address the mindset of the students. Why is that?
Absolutely.
So? Why
you see, we Indians are resilient by nature. We are a very flexible lot. We are the most accommodative people in the world. That's why our forefathers, our ancestors spoke about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole universe is one family. So we can adjust any part of the world you go, and Indians are the most peaceful communities, the most prosperous communities around the world, because they are able to accommodate to new situations, new realities. Now corona is a new reality, and now I see even government school kids, even students located in remote areas who are now getting comfortable with software technology. And somewhere I think that software is something that comes naturally to us, that's why perhaps we are the global leaders, and we are able to immediately switch on to that, and I think that that survival instinct in Indians, and I think that is one reason that we have so quickly adopted to that, and that is why we are not losing out in the, that's why initially I told you, education technology is today the biggest gainer. Every university, every school, every college is adopting that, and people are going for it. Even government institutions like the National Institute of Open Schooling, the Indira Gandhi National Open University, the Consortium of Educational Communications, you just name it. And they are all in a big way into this, and people are going for it. I hope that answers.
It solves everything. Okay,
so coming back, this is the thing, the print one, please remember, We were already started winding up when this corona happened. Now, only very few newspapers are able to reach their customers today.
True.
So
True.
now print houses are coming together and issuing advertisements in papers saying that, look, we are the most credible medium, we are the most trustworthy medium, we are fighting fake news and all that. That is because they are really worried about their survival, because in the last 24-25 days we have realized that we can survive without a newspaper, a hard copy. I mean, you do read it online, but a hard copy is not very much important for us.
True.
Now,
True.
this is the new threat for the print media. They are actually worried that whether if this catches up as a trend and people stop buying newspapers, that
What
would be
will happen?
really worrisome.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
We have some more questions, or
Yes.
shall I continue?
Sir, we have a question from a participant. So Mr. Prashanjit is asking,
Yes,
online
Prashant.
online media have one biggest drawback: fake news, circulating difficult to surrogate and from the actual. How do you address that?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Prashant, for that very interesting question. I have always considered the word fake news as an oxymoron. I think that if it is fake, it cannot be news, and if it is news, it cannot be fake. I think both contradict each other. So I would rather go by the term fake content rather than fake news, because news is a scientifically produced commodity. You get information, then what we do is that we verify, cross verify. We have an editorial filtration process through which we ensure that they don't come under, they don't violate the rules, they don't violate the laws of the land, they don't violate Indian Penal Code and the Criminal Procedure Code, they don't violate the provisions of libel, slander, defamation, they don't violate the constitutional provisions. Only after this we turn it into a news. So news is something different. Information, rumor, gossip, that can all be fake, but news cannot be, because if it has been sorted out, that is news.
Because
So
news is knowledge.
I somehow have a problem. So fake content, yes, fake content is a big menace, and we and everybody, you, me, everybody has to fight it out together. And unfortunately, social media has today, I am not saying that fake content is not there in print or electronic. It is there. But comparatively, it is on the social media, and particularly WhatsApp. Because India is the biggest, we have the largest consumer base of WhatsApp in the country. And we follow this land of, I often say, this land of Takshashila, Vikramashila, and Nalanda. Today, the biggest university is the WhatsApp University. And we all seem to be believing blindly in whatever comes on WhatsApp.
And we usually try to forward the thing, and then we create a chain.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is why there is a need for media literacy programs, awareness programs among even the educated people,
Yes.
That's important.
Sir, I'll tell you an interesting fact. In one of our group, which is a group of electronic and manufacturers, someone unknowingly started forwarding a message by saying that Netflix is giving 2 months free subscription, which was a spam actually. I immediately got that and told the guy, please stop it. He couldn't stop it because it is all there as a malware into his phone, and it is sending automated message. So be aware of all these kind of nonsense stuff, because people are right now trying to make some extra money by doing all those I should say illegal activities, and until unless we understand this, it's very, very difficult. And rightly said by our speaker today. Sir, I have another question. It's in the private chat. Okay, I have got another question as well. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So at the age of 5G,
yes,
are we going to have? So Prashanjit extending the question, but I have got a private chat. So in the age of 5G, do we feel the cost of, as a consumer, the cost of the news will be higher than the print media? So I'll reframe the question. as a
Yes.
consumer, will it take
Yes.
me to buy a news from digital media which will cost me
Yes.
higher than a print media?
Okay, there are two elements. First of all, the print media that comes to you is at a quarter of the price of the production. It actually, the cost is involved, you know. So if you're getting a newspaper for 2 rupees or 3 rupees, you know, its production cost is 30 rupees, you know. And please remember, when it is 30 rupees and the producer or the media is getting 27 rupees, only 3 rupees from you, from circulation, he is getting the remaining 27 rupees or 17 rupees from the advertisers, from the industry, from the business. Then you should not be complaining about bias. You should not be complaining about, you know, that the industry is influencing media or anybody else is, because you are not paying the cost for it. If you want
Super answer.
information to be independent, you need to pay for it. You see,
Yes.
you and I are ready to pay 350 rupees in a multiplex for a packet of popcorn when we go for a movie. But I'm not ready to give more than 3 rupees, you know, for a newspaper. Now,
That's the
then
mindset.
I cannot complain. I cannot be complaining about freedom of speech.
Exactly. Sir, I completely agree with you, because when see our core industry is into game development and virtual reality. So when we go for any consumer
Yes.
base, people are not ready to buy with $1, which will most probably 70
Yes.
in Indian currency.
Yes.
But they will go to
Yes.
a coffee shop and they will most probably invest 300 rupees. You know, that's the kind of
Yes.
mindset that we have. Anyway, I've got
Absolutely.
another
Absolutely.
question. I've got another question. Uh,
Yes.
okay, I've got a couple of questions now. So Shomodip is asking, where does the line
Okay.
splitting spam and information lie? Where does the line splitting spam and information lie? So I'll be asking everyone to put the chat in common group chat. Don't send me
Okay.
private message. It will be easier for the speaker to read that as well. You know? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. You are asking that where is the differentiating line between spam and information,
Information
genuine
lie.
information?
Right.
Obviously. You see, we need to understand one thing. How do I check whether an information coming to me is genuine or fake? You know, I need to understand this. For that, the most important thing is that I need to use my common sense. I need to check whether is it practical? Is it possible? Can something like that happen? That should be the first question that should come to my mind. Second, let me check the same news in alternative platforms. It cannot be that if there is a breaking news or a big news, it cannot be confined to one single platform. If there are multiple platforms which are carrying it, then the chances of it being genuine are much more higher, rather than an obscure, unknown platform carrying a particular news. If it is being carried only in a particular platform, an unknown, obscure platform, chances are that it is a fake content. That is something that we need to be aware of. We today have, thanks to technology, we ourselves can check many information. For example, we get a lot of visuals saying that this violence is happening in Kashmir, in Chhattisgarh, and all that stuff. We just have to go to Google reverse search image,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and check whether, you know, that image is available in a different context in some other news item. In all probability, you will find the same picture being coming from some incident happening in Central Asia or Afghanistan or Iraq, and that is being, you know, now represented as Kashmir or as somewhere happening in Chhattisgarh or any part of India. So you see a lot of such videos. So, you know, these are some basic things. If you can closely observe the videos, you can make out whether can it happen in that particular, does the topography match? Does the car registration numbers, do they match?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
you need to be a little more investigative when you look into these contents.
Okay. So we have got another question. Sir, if industry is
Yes.
funding print media, like newspaper, chances are there it is polarized for particular industry. Is it true, please?
Can you repeat that?
Sure, sure. If industry is funding print media like newspapers,
Yes.
chances are there it is polarized for particular industry. Is it true? Tricky question.
No. You see, please remember, industry will support something so long as it has the reach. The objective of industry or business is to reach out to the maximum number of the people. So if they feel that print media is the most potent media to reach out to the people, they will continue to support print media. But if they realize no, television is better or digital media is much more powerful and cheaper, then they will go for that. For them, it is the reach that is most important. How many consumers can I reach? For them, that is the biggest question, you know. So business will continue to support the media which will take their message to the maximum number of consumers.
Agreed.
So they will continue to support that. Yes.
Rizwan, your phone is in unmute mode. That's the reason I usually ask people not to. Okay. Anyway, sir, please
Yes.
continue. Yeah.
Okay. Now, coming back to the, you know, so print media, in spite of all this, before the corona thing, the latest projections are there that up to 2024, we are looking at a 3.4% growth.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas at the same time on digital platforms, we are looking at a 34% growth. This is almost 100%, you know. Now that is the...
Fuck.
So print media has also realized that, electronic media has also realized that. So they are going digital in a far, far bigger way. It's not only that they are monitoring digital, but they are monetizing digital. They are now investing in digital in a big way. You know, all the major media houses are investing because they know that the younger, the generation X, now there are bigger challenges also. And here, now media, the business has been, apart from the advertising that it does, media has been very effectively through corporate communication, public relations, it has been trying to put across its message to the people, you know, in a very interesting way to reach out to the people. And the business has realized that to reach out to the younger generation, we cannot be just talking only about our products. We also need to tell stories. So now, whether it is about their CSR activities or it is about the values that they represent, they are now engaged in trying to strike a conversation with the younger generation. It is no more a one-way monologue, like, look, this is the product I want to sell. No, it is no more a, you know, you put something on the digital media and you get some likes, so you are happy with it. Some views, some likes, some hits. No, they are now looking at engagements.
Yes.
They are looking at conversations. How many people are giving feedback? How many people are sharing? How many people are reverting to you? You see, I was reading an interesting statistics that in 70%, you know, of the people who go for online shopping, you know, they put stuff on the cart. Those carts actually don't get turned into actual product purchase. 70%.
Agreed.
Only 30%, you know, actual turn into orders. 70% that goes into the cart get cancelled. Now, the companies are no more focusing only on that 30%. They are now trying to reach out to that 70%. who at least took the interest of coming to the website and putting it in their cart. So
Okay.
then now they are using data analytics. They are
Yes.
using
Yes.
social media analytics
Yes.
to reach out to those very people that, look, you came and visited us, but you went back.
Yes.
Why did you go back? Come
Yes.
back.
Yes.
Now, this is how media is effectively, I mean, the business is effectively using social media, the technology, the, analytics, uh, yeah, artificial intelligence in a
Yes.
big way to gain from their media presence. So
True.
it is no more like a billboard that you put on a, very busy street. Now they are very clear that we want feedback,
Yes.
and they are responding to it.
Yes.
You will find, you I personally have done it, whether it is an airline or a online supplier of medicines. The moment I have put a complaint on the Twitter, they have responded fast and furious,
Yes.
because they know that, the negative feedback can always be utilized by your competition.
Yes.
So
100% agreed. Same thing happened to me. Okay, sir, I have got last question because I'm not going to take another
yes,
question. Well,
yes,
in India, media freedom is there,
yes.
but the same kind of media freedom is not there in couple of other countries. So digital media can break barriers as new travel across border. What is your opinion?
No, absolutely. You see, we are one of the most vibrant and dynamic democracies in spite of our shortcomings, our limitations. Freedom of speech and expression continues to thrive in this country. There have always been, whether it is the state government, central governments, or the corporate, pressures that have always been there. Uh, but we continue to be a very thriving democracy, and that is our biggest strength. But as rightly pointed out, it's not there in many countries. But there are a lot of censorship is happening even in social media.
Yeah.
You won't find today a Facebook or other, a lot of handles are not available in China today.
Yes, it is
Now
not.
the latest things that are coming out are that China suppressed a lot many cases in Wuhan.
Yes.
It did not give out. Now, had there been a vibrant media there, had the media there been free, perhaps we would have assessed the real situation there. But today that is not possible.
Yeah.
Now news reports are coming that the virus was leaked or the virus came from a lab in Wuhan.
Yeah.
Now that is possible. Perhaps this, if there was a vibrant media there, that could have brought it out. You never know. So it is very important that there is a free and democratic media functioning across the world. Yes, the presence of digital media has ensured that while country wise there may be some kind of a censorship or try attempts to muzzle it, but globally you cannot suppress the voice for long. There would always be a global presence. So digital media has allowed that, and that I think that is why we say that social media has democratized media.
True.
Voices which were perhaps ignored, never heard by the so-called mainstream media are today being listened to thanks
Yes.
to social media.
True, true. And I can see all the energy. So for all the audience again, Professor Suresh is the Dean for School of Modern Media, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun. And I can see the energy, and I can see the reason why he is Dean in Petroleum and Energy. The
Thank
core
you,
energy
Arijit,
is
for that
coming out.
wonderful opportunity to interact with people from the world of business. And I really look forward to more such interactions and on more such important topics.
It will be
Thank you
our
for
pleasure, sir.
facilitating this.
We'll be more than happy to have you again and again into our shows. So for the rest of the audience, stay tuned. We'll be having another interesting session with Professor Suresh with more energy, more vibration, and more knowledge. I hope after we are making it live, we will be making your comments, because that's the key thing that we have learned, and you will be sharing into your social media handles. Please follow our hashtag. I'll be sharing it with you, and please stay tuned and energize yourself. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for all the knowledge
Thank
that you
you.
have
The
shared.
pleasure was entirely mine. Thank you, all the audience, for being,
We are
tuning
getting
in.
thanks
Thank you
for
so
all the
much.
audiences. So thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rizwan, for
Thank
your
you.
thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.